Go, hold, run, tell, walk.
Next one. Do your next one.
Go, walk. Hot, sunny, chop, is.
Unstoppable, yeah, unstoppable. I'm unstoppable, yeah, unstoppable. I'm unstoppable, yeah, unstoppable. I'm unstoppable, yeah, unstoppable.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. So, good afternoon, everybody. Today I am talking to a very, very special young lady that I met a long time ago, and I know her as MJ. She is my son's first teacher. And I was blessed to meet her because she did help me a lot on this autism journey when I first started out, because I was a mess. I didn't know what I was doing. So I want to introduce you to MJ. Hi, MJ.
Hi.
You did it? Oh, he's saying hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Caleb's saying hi
Okay.
again. Yes.
Oh,
she's saying
good.
okay, mommy recording. Thank you. So MJ, tell me a little bit about yourself. You can start off with, your professional career, where you started, how did you get into special ed?
Okay. I did most of my college work at Appalachian, North Carolina, and with some graduate work at Catawba College and North Carolina State University, with various degrees in special education, preschool, special needs, severe, profound, mentoring, and I don't even remember the rest, but it just all pulled together for my job. I'm trying to think. I mean, this was how many years ago that I started teaching? I think I accidentally got into special ed with needing a job. And at that time, I went to a college and did a big questionnaire and to find out what I might be good at. So it sent me to Murdoch Center, which is an institution for those with all kinds of disabilities in North Carolina. And I started working with blind, deaf, and deaf-blind children. And it was like I was meant to be with these children. I mean, all the college in the world didn't really teach me what I had to feel it in my own being to be able to work with them. And so that just got me started. And then I went to Raleigh and worked with a Tammy Lynn Center, which was with special needs children. Then I ended up in Salisbury. I was there for a number of years, and then Winston-Salem. So I had 40 years of working with children.
Okay, I was about to ask you that. Like, how many years total was it? That's a long time.
Yeah. The first 20 years, I worked with children that were labeled then as severe, profound, physically and cognitively disabled. Mm-hmm. And I worked 20 years with them. And then I came to Winston-Salem and started with my preschool class for 20 years. And preschool was my love.
Yes.
I love preschoolers.
Speaking of that, I have something to show you.
Oh, do.
Yes. I want to see if you remember this picture. Hold on 1 second. I was doing some digging and I came across this picture.
I don't see anything. Oh,
you don't see anything? Yes. Okay, there you go.
Yes, I've got that picture somewhere too. Oh, look at that tiny, tiny little one.
So everybody's watching. The little one with the white shirt is my son, Caleb. That's it. Jay teaching it. And
wow.
This was circle time.
I love my circle time.
Yes. Look, I still remember the song. Sometimes we sing it sometimes.
Oh, good. Sometimes I do.
Especially the days of the week song. Like,
yes. Somebody asked me the day of the week the other day, and I sang the song.
Yeah, I mean, those things like was embedded in our kids. Like he still knows the song to this day. It's something else.
Well, he was so musical anyway. He would remember the songs.
Yeah. That's I think during that time is when I realized that he learns well with rhythm and music, and so. Yeah, I'm really, he's doing really, really well. So with your 40 years of being in special ed, what would you say was your most enjoyable or profound time? Would you say that was with your preschool class, or is it some other class?
Well, there were profound times in each area. It's with my severe profound population. I learned that was the beginning of computer use. And I went and learned how to use the computer, and the amazing breakthrough of learning the adaptations, because so many of the kids were so physically involved, they could not even sit, they couldn't talk, they might just move, like one little girl could just move her wrist. And to find the adaptations to allow these kids to be able to interact with a computer game or whatever, and it leading to communication. That was a very profound and wonderful time for me to use the creativity part of me that I didn't know I had, and really develop a lot of things. Mm-hmm. That was very profound.
So do you think the age of computers, because I know I hear a lot of people saying that now that we're allowing the internet and the flashy computers raise our children now. Do you see a good side to it and the bad side to it? Because I know you're saying it really helped the children to learn to communicate by using technology. So has technology have its 50-50 or up and down with it? Where do you see the disconnect?
Well, for me, technology, if you're using it with people who need help with being able to communicate or whatever, there's no downside. There's no downside. One example would be one of my students. She was very physically involved. She screamed all the time. And when we found a way for her to adapt to the computer, there was an IQ test that the psychologists or psychiatrists were able to use with her, just having her use her hand to touch the switch, which would give the answer, and found out her IQ was like 135. This was a 6-7-year-old whose psychological read IQ less than 10. You see, I never would read those things.
Right.
And we had to explain to the parents that they needed to be prepared for her to say things that would hurt their feelings, that would make them really sad. And she really had a lot to say. I mean, this wasn't in the matter of months. It took really years to get there. But she wanted things she couldn't have because she was so totally disabled. So, I always recommend. I know people worry that using a computer would make it harder for the kids to learn to talk.
Right.
I never found that, because it was such a freedom for them to be able to communicate, that then it made it easier for them to find their voice. So
right. Yeah.
But preschoolers, I love preschool.
So preschool second.
First of all, I was the age of a child, but I never was a child. I was only an adult child.
Yeah.
And I loved learning about toys and books. Oh my goodness, children's books, and having those available and seeing the kids enjoy the books. But somehow it's like I could relate to my preschoolers really well, because I could see into, I had a feeling for what they might be going through or having been through, or because there were children there that had been abused, and that was very important for me to know that I was able to be with these children and provide them a safe environment. And the different thoughts on how to teach children, I would get into that with my superiors.
That's one of the questions I want to ask you a little bit.
Okay.
Like, did you have? Because I love the way you were interacting with our kids and how you were teaching them. Because that was one of my biggest fears. Putting Caleb into the school system was that, because I found throughout the years, sometimes teachers doesn't have the patience to actually learn each child's learning style.
Right.
Or how to structure your class in order to accommodate all of your little ones. So did you get a lot of pushback on how you structured your classroom or how you interacted with the children?
Not really, unless there was a parent or family that was so determined that their child be taught in a certain way, a very specific way. And their way had some merit, but it needed to be sort of melded in and meshed in with my way.
Right.
I was pushed to tell them that I would do it exactly how they wanted it done. And the parents insisted that I go to a workshop so I could learn what they wanted. Well, do what they wanted because I did that workshop. And we finally decided that child shouldn't be in my classroom, which was sad because I think she really would have functioned with a little less stressful kind of structure. I believe we all need our structure, but there are ways to have structure that make it less stressful for the children. It's like, first of all, I knew right away that I couldn't expect parents to have a very strict, structured menu at home. That's not life. That's not real life. And it was important for me to pay more attention to how I speak to kids, just using a few words. And I would deliberately put changes in the day without warning so that they could learn that changes do occur. And
right.
Learning specific phrases, that's important, not give reasons or whatever, like saying, we're going to change now. And it takes a while to learn that, but I really enjoyed finding my way of helping them show how much they knew.
Yeah. I know, like for me, I learned a lot from you because a lot of things that you incorporated in the classroom, I started doing at home.
Oh, wonderful! Yes.
Yeah. So that helped me a lot. Yeah. It helped me a lot. Even to the point of how you had the classroom made up. His room was made up similar. He had his table purple, and he had the book. I was doing it, MJ. Whatever works, I was going to do it.
Right.
Yeah, whatever works, I was going to do it.
Yeah.
So my next question is, how do I want to say? Because a lot of times when Caleb was going through the school system, a lot of times I had virtually all of his teachers compliment me for how I raised him, because like 70% or 80% of the kids in the classroom that he was in didn't know how to do anything. They didn't have any life skills, or the parents were hands off. It was like they just dropped them off at the school, let the teachers handle it, let them teach them. There was no teamwork, because like in every school that he's been in, the classroom, I kind of try to create a collaboration with the teacher, so that whatever that she's doing or he's doing in the classroom, I was doing it at home as well. So it was some type of structure, because whatever was working in the classroom, I wanted him to do it at home as well, so that I can continue to teach him at home. And I find a lot of times that I hear, and I see it too, a lot of parents are hands off. They're not really involved in their child's life. They just, drop them off, and whatever they learn in school, that's what they learn. And they're not learning any type of life skills or anything. And when Caleb will go to, classes, or, how he got up in school, they were surprised that he knows how to clean. He knows how to wash dishes. He knows how to iron his clothes. He knows how to wash his clothes. He knows how to take out the trash. He knows how to bathe himself, wash it. They were like totally surprised that that he was able to do those things, and majority of the class wasn't. So let's talk about the parent involvement or interaction in the school system. Have you seen it so far from when you started into now? Is there a difference? Were the parents more hands-on back then and they're hands off now, or is it pretty much the same? What have you seen in your 40 years?
Well, when I worked with the severe profound population, there was very little parent interaction. And I couldn't blame them because it was hard. It's hard for all parents. And at that point, being my first actual experience with teaching, I wasn't aware of the importance of parents.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when I got to the younger kids, you haven't had as many years when they're preschoolers to get exhausted enough to just drop out. I saw a lot more interaction with parents. I really appreciated the parents, and I bet out of most of my students, there might have been 70 to 80 good percent interaction with parents. And the level of interaction was really different. I really enjoyed, here you are, so I really enjoyed interacting with you because you listened and I listened to you. It was so important for me to listen to you, the parent, because when it comes right down to it, you know what's best. You feel what's best, whether you allow yourself to know that's what's best. And to be able to have dialogue back and forth, sharing with a parent, that makes a tremendous amount of difference.
I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but you told me to get Caleb's adenoids and tonsils checked. And when I did that, they discovered that they need to be taken out. And as soon as they took them out, that's when Caleb started talking.
Yeah.
It's like you I was like, MJ just knew what it's like the baby what's going on.
Yeah. Well, and see, sometimes a teacher's going to notice changes quicker than a parent because, the teacher has them just that amount of time and it's much more focused. At home, you're moving around and doing your thing.
Yeah.
That
was a blessing that, and it's important that a lot of times when I talk to the parents that I interact with, it's like, sometimes, we think because the kids is with us, at home, but it's important for us to listen to the teachers and the professionals too, because a lot of times our kids do something totally different from what they do at home, and you have like no idea. So like it's important to have that type of communication, with the teachers and professionals that you deal with.
Well, I made an effort to spend time in various homes, just to see, and I difference did amaze me when I first started doing that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So my next question is, when you were in school for, training, and because a lot of times people are saying like, because I'm gonna tell you, when Caleb was diagnosed, I had no clue what autism was. Like, the word was new to me when the doctor gave me the diagnosis. I was like, what is autism? What is that? You know what I mean? And I know like back then a lot of doctors really didn't know the extent of autism. A lot of them weren't prepared. They weren't taught. So what kind of training did you actually get to kind of conform to this spread of autism?
Way back then, I don't know that autism was even focused on. It was just so much general of special needs. And it's when I got into my graduate courses. But even then, what I was taught didn't guide me in my way of teaching. Once I started having different children, autistic and Down syndrome and all that, I did my own research. But in a way, there's just something about me, and I'm not bragging so much as saying that it was meant for me to be working with these children. There was something in me that made it possible. And I connected with it in a way that, well, to this day, I feel real gratitude that I could. And I look back on it and how it affected my own life, my own life.
Mm-hmm. So would you say it was like your divine mission? That,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm truly grateful for you. I know that much. I'm truly grateful.
Yeah.
So, I have another picture.
Oh, goody.
Can you see it?
Not yet. There. Oh, I remember that one too. I loved calendar time.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday.
Wonderful. And I kept it up. They could go back during the day, during free time, to interact with it. And I didn't used to do that because I didn't want them to mess it up. But I realized, hey, it's amazing what you learn when you're about a child, when you're not asking them to do something. And if you really observe what you're doing, that helps. That it's much more, makes it much clearer what they really know than those tests we had to give. Because well, it's like me when I know I'm going to be asked questions. I didn't let that worry me with you because I knew you were okay. But I just want to freeze up, and
right,
yeah.
Like, I need a list of questions before we do anything. Like, I gotta be prepared. Oh my goodness. So looking back from when you, I would say the most precious time you had with the pre-Ks, and what you see in society today when it comes to teaching and just raising our babies or our, autistic children. Do you see? I know that there's we have more research and there's more information out there. What do you see, either good or bad, that is has developed over time when it comes to being a special ed teacher?
I can't say that it's all that different. I think the reason I retired when I did, I could have worked 10 more years, was the bureaucracy.
Really?
I couldn't deal with the bureaucracy anymore. I didn't like being asked to do things that weren't right for me to do.
Can you share one of the things that you didn't agree with?
To tell, the same example I used before was to tell parents that I was going to do it their way, and put up the charts they wanted, and it didn't matter if I did it or not. That's not the way. That's just when higher up allows you to just do it your way or whatever, and say to the parents the lying.
Okay.
And the amount of paperwork.
Yeah, I hear that a lot about the paperwork.
And I can't think of examples right now.
Did you think that administration or the changes in the school board made it either easier or difficult to teach the baby?
I think that for a long time, special ed, at least my class, well, they knew I was a good teacher, but my class wasn't bothered for so long. I mean, they needed their monies to go elsewhere. See, everything in my classroom, 90% of what was in my classroom, I bought myself. because
I hear that.
I was determined to have enough stuff in there to give them give the kids options of what they play with or what they interact with. How can you learn what attracts them if there's not a supply there? Plus, I was like a kid, I enjoyed playing. What was your question again? I started visualizing myself playing with trucks. I never knew I liked trucks.
Oh, you pretty much answered it though, so we go to the next one. That's good. So, what was the other question? It was something similar to that, but I was thinking, when I'm, I don't know if you seen a lot in the news where a lot of the paraprofessionals have been charged with mistreating the children.
I've seen that. I mean, I have seen it personally. And
so, what are your thoughts about that?
I have some very strong thoughts. My experience, and I saw a lot of it, and I would report it because you don't force a child. Say you have to eat this before you get your milk. You don't force a child to eat and keep their drink from them. I mean, that's just a simple example, and it was ignored. Always ignored because teachers were hard to get, and the classroom was a hard classroom. Well, I had some real behavior kids too, but
yes, I remember one.
Or accountability. Oh, what do you remember once?
He couldn't keep his hands out of certain places.
Oh my! Well, that's sort of normal from what I learned.
What's going on back here on this beanbag?
Let's move you to the corner over there so you can eat yours. Oh dear.
There was a video of I think she was a bus aide. Just was beating on a special needs child. Let me tell you something. MJ, I would be in jail. Okay.
That's where the person who is doing it needs to be.
I mean, it was a bus aide. I don't know if she was a paraprofessional or she was just a bus aide, but the parent says that for about 6 months, the kid was coming home with, different types of bruises and things like that. And so the school board finally looked at the bus videos or whatever and figured out that she was punching him and stuff while they were riding. And when I talk to a lot of parents, and that is one of their biggest fears, that being, especially if they're nonverbal, that somebody's going to hurt their child while they're not around.
And
I would be in handcuffs.
I mean, there's more instances of that than is even publicized. People lose their temper, or some children can have such bad behaviors, and you just sort of snap. And there was something in me that kept me calm. I don't know, maybe because of my childhood but I don't know what we can do about that other than for parents to be vigilant.
Well, and then, you just hit on something. And that's one of the things I really, really want to get into, is the behaviors. Where people, not just the teachers but even parents, are not taught how to deal with the types of behaviors that their child may have. And so they get overwhelmed and frustrated, and then that's when they just blow up. And that's one of my initiatives, is that, when we get the diagnosis, we always focusing on the child, but nobody's really focusing on the parents or the caregivers.
Yeah.
They need instructions and care and training as well, so my feeling is the child needs early intervention, and so does the parent.
It should be a total. I mean, it should be mother and child together. I mean, just,
yeah.
And I know for a while we had the parent of one of my students who set up his own training for people to work with autistic kids. He was the father of an autistic kid with similar behaviors. And it grew, and he had people who would go into the homes to help the families and all. But even then, people are really good at hiding their frustration, and then when they're alone, you don't know what's going on, because that happened with a few of the people he had hired. I don't know how you deal with. I don't know how to change that.
Yeah, and I can say for like in my community, the Black community, it's more or less, you don't say anything, you don't reach out because, therapy is like taboo, in the Black community. Or
I enjoy my therapy.
Like whatever goes on in this house, saying nothing, or a lot of, it's sad to say that a lot of grandparents are raising the great grandkids, and they are not knowledgeable, and they are old school thinking, oh, he's just bad, just beat it out of him. You know what I mean? Or just punish it out of him. But that's not what's happening. They just don't have the education or training to go in. And then you have the parents that just hands off, especially when I found like, when I'm talking to a lot of young parents, it's like they have these kids so young, and then the child turns out to have a disability. That's another thing piled on having the baby so young. They're immature in the mind, and then it's piled on that this child have a disability, and so it's like they just lose it, and they don't know what to do. And so I even had one young lady that she just literally leaves her kid in the room all day because she just couldn't handle it. And it was like taboo to actually reach out for help. And I don't, and that's one thing I don't understand. Like if you're ask somebody, research, Google, it just
Yeah, see, in my mind, you're right there, and you're doing what I wish other people would do, getting it out there. And you yourself, you didn't allow things to just stand still with Caleb. You fought for Caleb.
Exactly.
Hard to fight for Caleb. And mothers groups. At one point I was considering doing a once a month kind of mothers group with the kids there and just interacting, but the school system would not allow it.
Oh, okay.
But just a kind of like a AA meeting, Yeah,
and it's needed because like I have a 24-hour hotline, and I tell them like, look, if at any point you feel like you are that frustrated where you feel like you would ignore your child or neglect your child or hurt your child, call me. Call me so that I can help you bring it down and calm down and think. So, and I think that's what's missing with a lot of, especially these young parents, because let's be honest, they do not have no patience. They didn't have time to develop no patience. Right. So I can see why they can just be like, I'm not dealing with this. Right. So I think having like, the groups getting together and meeting, but then you have to think about a lot of people is like, I'm so shy. I don't want people to know my business. I don't want people to look at me a certain way, to know that I'm having these thoughts. Because when I tell my story all the time, I tell them when my son first was diagnosed with autism, I was out of it. I was super depressed, severely depressed, to the point I want to kill us both. And I'm not afraid to tell it. That's how bad it was. Because I didn't have the knowledge of what autism was or what caused it at the time and stuff like that. I blame myself. like this is my fault,
Of course, that's what the parents going to think. Yeah, yeah.
And so, now that when I'm teaching a class or something, I talk to the parents about, you're going to go through the stages of grief, just like if you're mourning the death, because in actuality, you are kind of mourning the death, because when you have this baby inside you and you envision what you want them to be when they grow up and stuff, and then you're hit with a dagger that's saying that no, they will not.
Yeah, it's a death of those hopes and visions of your life with your child.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have to go through it, and I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. I hear a lot of parents, they still in denial. And because our babies have a look. Like if I'm in the store and I see a little kid, they got that look. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have some parents that are in denial.
Yeah.
They're in denial. They won't get them tested. They won't get them help because they figure, he'll grow out of it. He'll grow out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, did you get a lot of that type of attitude with parents? They're not that accepting of their child being special needs, so they're kind of defiant or kind of, giving you a lot of pushback on any help that you try to get them?
Evidently, because I remember there was enough that I would remember that as when it first started, I just, that naive part of me just couldn't understand. But the more I got involved with the students, and even with my severe profound students, I would provide respite to the parents, and I would keep them. I would go to their homes and stay for a week or so, and get him to school and all that sort of stuff. So I was able to develop more of a compassion for that's where they are now, and all I can do is keep recommending or keep giving them what I can give them, and hope that at some point they'll be able to accept it. And I did see two or three that I can remember now, and even to have them write me a note later when they, like if they moved away, that they were thankful that they were able to get to that point of acceptance.
Yeah, sometimes it takes longer for some, and some of us grasp it right away because we know we have to get to work.
Yeah, and right.
It takes them a long time.
Yeah.
So what's my other question? Now that you're retired, what have you been doing? Are you still, active in the community when it comes to special ed, or are you just like, okay, I'm just relaxing now?
Well, I'll tell you, when I retired, I told them not to expect to see me come back because they were sure I'd come back. And it wasn't because I didn't want to see the kids. I had this high ego that nobody could take care of my kids as good as I could. And of course, there are people out there that could. But I didn't want to go into the classroom and see things not good.
Yeah.
I wanted to remember the classroom.
I didn't like that teacher when you left. I ain't like that teacher.
Well, she was young.
Yes. I was so glad I was moving. Like, man, this lady gonna battle it out.
I did that once, and the vibe I got bothered me, so I didn't stay. But
yeah.
Everybody has their own way, and they can still be effective. And I finally realized that.
I was like, you are no MJ, okay? Like,
well, that was not fair for her. I mean, after all,
problems, lady.
I was in my 30th year of teaching, so what can you say? Hopefully I learned something.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not necessarily I'm not really in the quote special ed field, but first of all, I've spent a lot of time in therapy to find my own truth, to find my own self. I had a very traumatic life until age 30. And I have found my own inner being. I love myself. I love my body. I call myself a goddess. And I am in community with so many people who are on their own journeys, finding their truths. And I'm considered kind of a wise woman in that they like to listen to me because I just sit and talk about my past. Kind of like, I don't mind saying the truth and how horrible it was.
Exactly.
And all. And these people are at the place where it's helpful to tell my story in these communities because it gives them hope. It makes them realize that all the pain and whatever that you go through on this journey, which you do, it makes a difference.
It does.
You can't, the gratitude just gets deeper and deeper the more you go deeper into your own story and your own self. And I'm doing a lot of work with art. I do process art, and people call me an art therapist, but I'm not legally an art therapist. But I working with families or single people, one at a time. I've got a mother and daughter team that comes for their art therapy, and it's the process of sitting still, quieting our mind, relaxing our bodies. And I always start with ink painting because you can't make a picture like you want to make with ink painting. It's all, you just put it and it comes to. And helping them allow themselves to just do what their hands want to do and their mind picking up and just getting involved in that process. It's amazing how cathartic and how excited people get when they finally realize, hey, I don't have to have, quote, talent in this. I can do this and have a beautiful picture.
Exactly. So I might need to do that because I'll be on 10 every day.
And I hope I've started going to a couple of residential places, independent living places, and with them.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I've worked with people with Alzheimer's and dementia, and I'm really good with them. It's like we connect, and for some reason, one person kept saying, "Oh, this looks like," and then she do, "Oh, this looks like," because she doesn't remember that she's already said that, and it's just it doesn't bother me the least bit. I just said, "Wow," so it's something I really enjoy. I really enjoy it.
I get you're very nurturing. Right, you're a special nurturer for sure. Yeah. So, what was the question? You were talking and it just went. Oh, yes. So you know that Mr. Caleb is 21 now, right?
Yes.
So now I'm navigating into the transition to adulthood.
Yep.
That stage. Do you have any recommendations or any tidbits for us parents that our kids are moving into the third part of their life? On the spectrum.
Well, I would love to think that every place had their communities where our autistic kids and higher function. I consider Caleb to be a higher function. I mean, really, he can take care of himself up to a point. And where they can move in and be like their own little apartment with ongoing staff there. And I've read about one place, and I don't remember where, that and I've seen on Facebook occasionally where that was really working. But there again, you have to worry about the staff or.
Yeah, that's that's my number one worry, because I got bail money. Okay, I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm going to jail. You mess with my baby.
So, how about jobs around there? Are they open to hiring or having?
I know. Okay, so when I was in Baltimore, they have several programs where, like they train them to do jobs and things like that. And so I'm in Louisiana, so the parish where I am now, not so much. Actually, it's not much services here. But if you go outside into Baton Rouge, they have more services there for our kids. But however, because Caleb is so, everybody knows Caleb around here,
right,
and so high functioning that they know that if you just give him a routine or tell him what to do, he'll do it. So he will be working, since he likes to put things in order.
Yeah.
So he'll be working at a store stocking. So that'll be his first job. So I'm excited.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And here in Winston, it's been within the last year, I don't know, maybe they're parents of children with Down syndrome and autism and whatever, and they started a coffee shop because coffee is very popular.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah,
and have pastries made by some of the places around here in Winston, and they hire only adults with varying disabilities, and they train them, and then they work there.
That's the kind of programs they have in Maryland.
And the place has grown. I mean, they've got it one on Trade Street, which is a street of all kinds of great jobs, and then they've got one in their public library. So
with the transition now, one thing I kind of worry about is what if something happens to me? What if something happens to both me and my husband, what then? What happens to Caleb? You know what I mean? So that's always been a thought in my head.
Write down and just really talked it out, and what would be your ideal? Are there I've just recently been planning my death, when my body dies, and I did some workshops to learn everything I needed to take into account, and I've really had kind of fun planning it because it's just for me. I get to be buried. I don't have to be embalmed.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I'm going to do it my way.
Oh my.
Where do you start with getting information? I guess if you know someone in social services, just to talk to.
I've been compiling some information. Yeah, and I've been compiling some information, and I have went to a couple of seminars, and I'm actually going to regurgitate the things that I've learned, because I didn't know that when Caleb got of age, I am supposed to have guardianship of him now.
Because I knew that, but I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah, so I had to apply for guardianship of him now because he's an adult. Yeah. So I learned a lot, and so I will be sharing that information. I'm compiling everything together to do a presentation for my autism. Yeah, because it was like 10 of us sitting at the table, and we was like, what? Like, we didn't know. Like, it was. So I'm quite sure it wasn't just us 10 did not know that we were supposed to get guardianship over our own kid. So I guess because they're not considered a kid anymore. So yeah.
Are there any group homes in your area?
not here. They will be in New Orleans or Baton Rouge. So, but they're so what and I don't want to put me in the wrong. So
I have to.
one of the options I was thinking about is so if we build the house and then we just build a separate what do you call it, in-law type
Yeah.
where he would have his own little kitchen, living room. He would have like a little space.
Yeah. I was going to say build a tiny house right in the backyard.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So he'll have access to us and we'll have access to him if something is wrong or something like that. And like now, like Caleb child, like he told me the other day, he a grown man. I said, okay, Mr. Grown Man.
Well, 21, he can drink now.
I'm a grown man. Okay. I should treat you like a grown man.
Right,
like like now, I mean, he does, of course, he does his thing. He breakfast, lunch, dinner, he does all his thing. He doesn't, need any assistance from me for anything. Like I can leave and go to New Orleans and come back. And then I have security everywhere. So if I need to check to see what's going on, make sure the house is okay, he's that independent.
The fact that he's already in that level of functioning, it's like, should you die, and he had his own place with that, like that, and I'm sure there's a way that some service or whatever would check in. Just to see how things- I mean,
is it something like when you have like a home health nurse or something? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Or even friends or whatever that you know. Because if you fix his own space, he has time to adjust to being in his own space. He'll probably love it.
I can stop barging in his room. What you doing, Caleb?
See, that way you're avoiding a major change if he's already in a place where he can live and have people come by, because it's going to be a major change should you die. Well, you will die one day, but yeah.
Now I know here there is I used to work there. There is some apartments that are made for people on disability. And I remember there is a young man that was living there. He was on the spectrum, but he was living by himself. And what would happen is, his mom would come and, stock up the fridge, for, whatever he needs, the toiletries and all that. But he was there, he was there by himself the whole time. And, his mom or sister would come in to check on him or take him out or something like that. But he was basically living on his own, just chilling, playing his PlayStation all day.
But he had his own little life, his own little space, and evidently was happy, or he would have gotten into some kind of trouble, I guess.
Yeah, he had like a little the efficiency apartment, so it was like just a small bedroom and stuff, and it was just what he needs. But it's going to be interesting to see Caleb get older and. Yeah. So I'm excited, and then I'm kind of scared too.
Of course. How does a mom really let go?
You're making me feel old. What's going on?
Right. You feel old. Look at me.
Oh my goodness.
I have finally accepted that my body is old. Yeah. But nothing else is old. Just my body.
Yeah. So MJ, what would be your final or best advice for, let's start with a parent with a new diagnosis, then move into the rest of the care that they need from them? what would be your advice to a parent that's just received their diagnosis and then progress from there?
There's so many things involved. The first thing I think is to feel relaxed and at ease with the baby. Hold that baby, whether he wants to be held or not. Hold him, rub him, caress him. If he doesn't, she doesn't want to be. When they're infants, it's hard to know. So they won't know till probably 2 or so, but continue to treat him as a little kid. I mean, as you would a kid. Pay attention to. Now, I'm getting wordy, and you don't want to be wordy. You want to. It's to help them find their peace with who that child is.
Yeah.
To accept and love that child, and to hell with what anybody else thinks. On Facebook, I follow the escapades of this mother, the educated debutante, and she has an autistic son. And you need to look up the educated debutante, because she tells like it is. She talks about how awful she is, and we've gone from him being 2 or 3 years old. Now he's like 7 or 8, and I'm following their story, and it's an amazing story. I mean, she talks about the frustrations and about how she learns to see a lot. I mean, she never thought he would talk.
Right.
He can talk now. And the big thing about so many autistic children is they know a lot more than you're ever going to see. I mean, you might see it. It's like her Amos. He reads and knows all the capitals. He knows all the flags of the world. I mean, things.
Yeah.
Reach out for help when you are confused.
That's a big one.
So a doctor, if they ever get the test and he's diagnosed, they'll give her information and have her, read it, look at it, and feel into what it's telling you. I'm real big on letting your body tell you. We and mothers especially have that intuition.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know that I would be able to tell her something other than I'm right here, and I'll be glad to keep up with you and be a part of this with you. Because there's so many things that you can't even imagine coming up that might get in the way or whatever. Live in the moment is my new philosophy for myself, and instead of worrying about the future.
Yeah, that's another big one. Especially with parents who worry about the future instead of just embracing what's happening right now.
I don't see you worrying so much as anticipating. There are things that sometimes good to have some information, because there are things you have to pay attention to in the future. But it's like with me, day by day is fine.
Right.
I'm alone. I don't have responsibilities. I'm going to Greece in June. So I'm traveling one last time. This is going to be my hoorah travel.
Ooh. Oh my. Take lots of pictures.
Settle in. And, I have people call me and want me to do this or that related to some art stuff. And I'm getting ready to start a group of women to do embodiment work and embrace our bodies and our souls. So, and I think all my work as a teacher has given me so much within me that it has enabled me to get to this point.
Would you say, do you feel that you have fulfilled your mission, or you still have work to do?
I'm always looking out for more and more depth, looking for the depth within me. I've got a mentor, and it's not therapy or whatever, but we talk about what's going on or how I'm feeling. And I love recognizing emotions. I love sitting with an emotion. And even if it's intense, I love being able to sit with it and allow it to move through me. And that's how I get into more and more depth. So it's really, my mission is to be who I am and to be open to whatever comes to me and to surrender. Allow. Mm-hmm. So whatever, something else may come up that I have to do, like this trip to Greece, but I'm not anticipating.
You gonna take that long flight, MJ? I'm scared of planes. I mean, I'll get on it, but knock me out.
But see, this is 3 weeks at Corfu, Greece, and it's with women from all over the world. And we'll be doing, it's called the Awakening Women. And we'll be doing all the embodiment and meditation. And it's just 3 weeks of being in connection with goddesses from all over the world. I love meeting new people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, question. This is off the record. So, when you have time, would you be interested in doing a Q&A with some parents that have like questions about the putting their kid in school, the process, what should happen, what should not happen, early intervention, just whatever kind of questions that a parent may have, what they just have,
Well, sure. And if I don't have an answer, I'll say, well, I'm not sure. Let me think a minute.
Right.
I mean,
let me direct you to this. I mean, I think a lot of parents just have it's not even a lot of technical stuff they want to know.
Yeah.
It's more emotional, based questions that they just fighting with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I think I could get into that.
Okay.
I think I've got enough ease about myself that maybe I won't look too.
What? What's that?
You see, I've lost all my hair on top.
No, I mean, but your hair is white, so you can't tell. I didn't really pay attention to it until you pointed it out.
I see you. You're not looking up there. You're looking at
right. Oh my goodness. I mean, I truly do. I was telling my husband, I was like, look, I'm going to talk to Caleb's first teacher. And he was like, oh, wow. And just, yeah, I just want to say, I truly thank God for you, because I don't know if I didn't meet you, and when I did, and Caleb started to go to that class, I truly believe the outcome probably would have been different.
And the thing is, we were meant to be together. I mean, I truly believe that the forces pushed us together.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging it. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging it. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, who don't play, 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 who don't play, mission, they say that I'm tripping. I've been told I need a vacation, I'm finessing a visit. First class, my feet up high in the air on business, yeah. Cover the city, your city ain't working, it's all for nothing. She told me don't let up, it's on us to make it, it's on us to crush it. Nigga, it's gon' take some just to make some, so put that in your budget. Yeah, can't keep moving your dreams for cheap when you ain't even buzzing. What got you bugging? Make you a play, don't be scared of religion. You made it from nothing, then figure out your clutching. Everything you want in front of you, ain't no discussion. Look, it's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, who don't play, 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 play. Who don't play, 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 play. Who don't play, 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 play. Who don't play, 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 play.
It's been a long time coming. Track star, long time running. I exterminate foes, they bugging. I'm joke, I want my nuggets gold. Platinum chain, call them Johnny Dang, dog. With my brains, I go off like hurricanes until my diamonds look like rain. My verses, gas, I'm on it, spaz. The business, cash, no money, pass. Ken said I need a verse, I said give me like 30, I did it in 15 for real. I've been on fire, they want me to chill. I've been on fire, they want me to.
Look, it's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, who don't play, 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 play. 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 Who don't, yeah. It's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging it. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging it. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, who don't play, 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 play. Who don't play, 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 play. Who don't play, 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 play. Who don't play, play, play. Who don't? Long time coming. Black on the bottom of my feet from running. Cataracts under my eyes from hustling. Going from buying and selling to customers. Run up the business. God is my witness. Sun up the sun up from Monday to Sunday. We maxing our limits. My mind running like Tom Cruise on an action movie. Moving a mission. They say that I'm tripping. I've been told I need a vacation. I'm finessing a visit. First class, my feet up high in the air on business. Yeah. Cover the city. Your city ain't working. It's all for nothing. She told me don't let up. It's on us to make it. It's on us to crush it. Nigga, it's gon' take some just to make some. So put that in your budget. Yeah. Can't keep moving your dreams for cheap when you ain't even buzzing. What got you bugging? Make you a play, don't be scared of religion. You made it from nothing, then figure out your clutching. Everything you want in front of you, ain't no discussion. Look, it's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, who don't play?